Ghoul, oh ghoul, it has been a hot minute since I have seen a horror movie that left me wanting to talk and talk and talk and talk about it. So today we're going to be talking about Companion, the new movie that is coming out with Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. If you have not seen it or seen many of the previews yet or trailers, my recommendation is go in blind. Try to avoid as much as you can about this movie. I know that goes against me filming this right now, so if you haven't seen it yet and you want to be like surprised in all the great ways, pause now and come back later. But I am going to give a spoiler-free review before I get into all of the fun details. This film was definitely on my Valentine's horror list. I was super excited about it, but I have to admit that I definitely thought this film was going to be more on the like slow burn side based on the trailer than what it actually turned out to be. So from a spoiler-free perspective, this film is such a fun ride. Like, from a person who really loves horror that is mostly like fun with jump scares, isn't going to be like a slow burn that like really gets in your brain. This was definitely more on the fun side, but I love that it had a lot of undertones of commentary with a lot of things that are going on in the world right now, and I will get into that. But it's just a fun film, and if I were gonna say like if it's worth going to the theater, it really is, because everyone was just vibing. There were people who had not seen the trailer in there or like caught on what the subject is that were like literally gasping when they realized what was happening in the movie. People laughed so much throughout the film. Like, it is definitely like a dark horror or like horror comedy. It was just a fun ride, and that's all I can say without really ruining it. So if you are thinking about going to go see it, this is your sign. Go see it. Like, if there's any movie you support this upcoming month, it was a real big like toss up between Heart Eyes and Companion for me as like the Valentine's pick, but I feel like this film is just so unique. I feel like we know what we're gonna get out of Heart Eyes. It's giving like Thanksgiving, but make it Valentine's Day. Companion is just something unique. So that being said, if you're ready for spoilers, stay tuned. If not, please come back, because I just want to fangirl with you guys. All right, so the film is obviously about AI, and I felt like there was a lot of commentary, but it was not in-your-face commentary, which is what I really loved about it. From a screenwriting perspective, I've been trying to identify like which films have the vibes of like the type of movie I want to create, because something that me and Mr. Spooks disagree on a lot is he wants to make, you know, those like super deep horror movies that have like so much meaning behind them and stuff, and I want to do something that matters, but I also feel like our world needs a lot of escapism right now. Like, I want people to feel like so hyped and have fun when they watch our films, but not feel like heavy afterwards, you know? And the best way I could describe it is just like Nosferatu was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was really good, but it didn't leave me feeling like, oh my god, I want to run home and film a video about this, you know? Because it was just like heavy, and as much as people made like jokes and memes about it on TikTok and all over social media, it just didn't have that effect on me, versus this film was like everything I've been trying to capture with Mr. Spooks and telling him of like how I see our films and our short films. Okay, is it just me, or is there like an aura that like keeps roaming around here? We're gonna have to have Mr. Spooks decode it, because I swear there's like a ghost roaming behind me, and now I'm never gonna be able to sleep in this room again. But anyway, yeah, this film captured it perfectly. From start to end, you do not feel like how much time has happened in this film. Like, time is like, what even is time? Because you're having such a good time watching it. Like, the pacing of the film is so good, and it literally feels like you're on a ride, because like things get really exciting and then they slow down a little bit, but then like something completely unexpected happens. So I really enjoyed the pacing of it, and I really enjoyed the tone of it. As far as the commentary goes, definitely, if you saw the film, it is very much about AI, but I also think there's undertones with women empowerment and women's issues going on in the world right now, especially in America. So for me, I really, like, there were points where it was like making me angry because it was very clear that Jack Quaid was supposed to be like, you know, that typical male that's trying to like silence us and control our bodies. So there were moments where like it was a little like cringe, like hitting too close to home, but the writing was so good that it would like quickly recover from those moments so that you couldn't linger on them and like it would take away the funness of the movie. There was one scene though towards the very end that I always tell Mr. Spooks, like, I hate how overused the word visceral is in horror. But this was the first time I ever felt compelled to use it because there's a scene towards the end. Again, spoiler alert. This is your last chance if you don't want spoilers. The scene at the end where he says, like, I got it wrong the first time, I'm not gonna get it wrong again, and he points the gun at her stomach. I was like, okay, that is very clearly a commentary, like, stating that that was, like, the most powerful part of her body, and then him wanting to kill it was just absolutely, like, the most visceral thing I have seen ever in horror, because it was just, like, so directly related to what is happening in our world today. So I was just like, but again, as soon as that happened, another, like, amazing moment happened that I quickly recovered from it. So like I said, like, this film is just paced so well. It has so much comedy mixed in with commentary that you don't even get a chance to like stop and process what's going on. And it's very rare that I'll say this, but I would definitely like even go watch this again tomorrow. Like, that's how much fun I had watching this film. And I think that that is what good horror should do. And I don't even think this leans like actual horror. It feels like dark comedy almost, or like comedy horror. But that's how I want my writing to make people feel. Like, it made me leave feeling like, oh, I like feel so jacked. I want to go home and make a film this good if I ever could, you know? So it was just done really well. Like, I can't stop talking about it. The acting was phenomenal. I thought the casting was really, really good. I will also say that this is the first role that I really connected with Harvey Guillen in. I know he is a fan favorite. Everybody loves him. I typically don't like stereotypical characters. I feel like he's one of those stereotype actors where he kind of always plays like the same role in everything he does. This one had, I feel like, a little more heart to it. It felt a little more authentic and genuine and like got in my feels. So I really connected with him in this film for the first time, which was really cool. Jack Quaid did such an amazing job that like I just hate him now. Like, it's gonna be really hard for him to recover from this film. Like, you know when you see a film and you're like convinced that that actor is that character, like that was Jack Quaid in this film for me, because he was so hateable. Like, I absolutely just like wanted to punch him in the face. And that's like, he did his job very well. So I'm curious to see, he has this other movie coming out where he like doesn't feel pain. I forget what it's called. So I'm curious to see if when I see that film, I'll be able to forget that he was the villain in this story. And if I am able to forget, that's my official rule for, is someone a good actor, then he passes the test, because I always believe, like, if you're a great actor, I will forget that you were a different character when I'm watching you on screen. So I'm super excited now to put that theory to test. Sophie Thatcher was, of course, amazing. I didn't really know what to expect with the film, like I said, but this role gave her so much range to really like have fun and do different things with it. So I definitely think that she did really well. I like I said, I don't really have anything negative to say about this film. Other than the marketing, I do feel like they should have kept the AI part a secret. And I feel like the comedy didn't really come through in the trailers. Like, the comedy of this film is like such a big part of it, like the writing, the pacing, and that doesn't come through in the trailers. I almost felt like this film was gonna be like Fresh on Hulu. If you haven't seen it, that is like a total must watch this Valentine's as well. Very gnarly. It's like if It meets Companion meets The Substance almost, in a way. But yeah, that's my only complaint, is the marketing. I do feel like they could have marketed a little bit better. They've put a lot into the marketing. It was really cool. They had this huge campaign where you could like text message or DM the film, and they would like ask you all these questions and send you a dating profile. And I don't know why, but I just feel like there it is again, you guys. I see it. I don't know what it is. We're going to have Mr. Spooks investigate that. We have our next TGM video in the works. Anyway, I don't feel like the whole dating profile thing matched the actual movie once you watched it. Like, it's about ordering your custom companion, and a dating app is more like you're finding the right companion versus making your dream companion, you know? So I feel like they kind of missed the mark in that sense of, like, the marketing didn't match the actual film. But it was still a really engaging campaign to get people, like, interested in it. As far as AI goes, I do want to take a minute to talk about, like, how relevant AI is in horror right now and reality. When Megan came out, I felt like it fell short in the horror category. I didn't think that it, like, because it wasn't rated R, I felt like they held back a lot in, like, the kill scenes and the gore and the scariness. Like, it was fun, but it just wasn't quite what I had expected. And I feel like it was just, like, slightly before its time. There is a new film on Netflix with Megan Fox called Subservience, I think is what it's called. And that one's not a horror film. It's, like, kind of like a drama thriller almost. And that one really surprised me because it was more so, like, the thought of the future of AI and how it's gonna affect society that, like, really got in your head. Listen to her, she's like, she doesn't like serious things that get in your head, and here she is talking about that. This is different though. Give me all of the, like, real life stuff, but not, like, the supernatural stuff. AI, we're good. But I found it really, like, scary to think about in Subservience. It's about how it's not just about this, but one of the underlying themes is about how eventually there are, like, AI robots that will, like, replace us in our jobs, like, not just intelligently, but, like, also, like, physical labor jobs, like construction jobs, servers, all of those things. And it starts to make you think, like, wow, that's true. We're already worried with AI taking over our jobs in marketing, copywriting, design, all those things. But then you take it a step further and we're really all replaceable by AI. So the way that plays out in the film was really done well and makes you think and is kind of scary. And then now Companion takes it to that next level of eventually people will be able to just, like, create their dream lover or partner. And what are the implications of that? Like, people will be completely selfish and do whatever they want if they don't have, like, an actual human by their side teaching them how to compromise, how to love unconditionally. You know, like, I feel like love is what makes us human, and when you take that aspect away, you start to see those, like, ugly parts in humans, the way you see with Jack Quaid's character, of how he thinks that he can just do whatever he wants with those people, you know? So there's, like, a whole other underlying commentary in here on top of, like, women's rights issues. There's AI issues. There's also just, like, respecting women, which is women's rights, I know. So I don't know, I just feel like there was so much in this, and there's, like, multiple stories within the story that are happening between all of the characters. So it was done really well. I can't stop talking about it. Please check out Subservience. I was actually telling Mr. Spooks that I'm curious to see what happens with Megan 2 now, because Megan 2 has some really big shoes to fill. I'm a huge Blumhouse fan. I really wanted to love the first Megan more than I really did. Like, it was fun, but I expected more from it. And now with so many things that have come out since about AI, it has this whole other, like, standard to meet, in my opinion. And I really hope that it goes to that level of horror that I was expecting with the first one, now that it has that, like, brand recognition. Hopefully it can be rated R. And like I said, we've come such a far way. Now Megan has to compete with Megan Fox and Sophie Thatcher. I don't know, girl, you're falling behind. So I'm really excited to see it. I am excited to see this new era of AI themes and commentary in horror, because it's just really, like, bringing to light a whole different topic. It's like the resurgence of Terminator, but in real life. Like, who knew we'd actually be here in 2025? So it's exciting and fun, but it's also really terrifying. So if you did check out the movie, let me know in the comments down below what you thought. What did you think about it? From a rating perspective, it's freaking bats. Obviously, I'm gonna give it a 5. I had literally nothing to say other than there was like this one part that was not consistent with the rest of the film, which is when was his name Sergey comes out and like talks to her in a different language, and she's like, what? And she doesn't know, and I'm like, isn't she supposed to know like all languages? So like that part was a little inconsistent, but like that's not worth knocking even half a star over. And again, just little nitpicky things that I'm trying to like be aware of as I'm taking in screenwriting and trying to learn about it so that I can one day turn over a script as amazing as The Companions. I did also want to note that another reason this really inspired me was because it was yet again another film written and directed by a male. Nosferatu was also by a male, and so was Poor Things, which are all films that I feel are like very strong women empowerment films within horror and have left me feeling like very strongly afterwards, but it does make me disappointed as an aspiring filmmaker and as a woman that we continue to see men in Hollywood lead these stories about women, and it makes me feel like I want to tell my story as a woman in filmmaking, you know. So in a way it inspired me, but in a way I did just still want to comment that we need more women telling women's stories. And I get that this was not a women's story specifically, but there were so many underlying undertones, commentary, all of that is much appreciated. But again, let's do better. Let's hire more female filmmakers. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought. And also, while we're on the topic, let's talk about the other films. What did you think about Nosferatu? I didn't do a video on it because I don't know. I still don't know what I want to say about the film, if I'm being honest. I also know that Presence came out last week or this week, and it was on my list, and then I saw a lot of commentary about how people felt that it was a really sad film, and I was like, I kind of have a feeling I know where that film is going based on what I've heard about it, and like the sad ghost vibes are not what I'm going for these days. So if you did watch it, let me know what you thought. Spoiler free, please, because I'll still watch it eventually. And I'm of course still looking forward to going to see Heart Eyes. Thanks to AMC, I just pay one monthly subscription with the A-list, and then I get to see all of them versus having to choose. Speaking of, I did get to see Companion with the AMC Screen Unseen program, so definitely check that out if you haven't heard of it. So yeah, let me know, what horror movies are you guys watching? What are you looking forward to? Heart Eyes will definitely be the next horror film we go see. I'm not sure when we'll make it to Presents, just because, like, you know, like I said, I like the vibes to be fun, and they're not always fun. So yeah, let a girl know. Until next time, sending you goals and kisses. Bye!